Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Oh, make sure I turn that off. Swap over to my little thingy. Okay. So this is kind of different from the last couple things I've played, because I usually do like fantasy RPG stuff, kind of. And then this one is like a visual novel. But I found it recently on Steam and it was free and it's fucking adorable. And so I actually went and I got my hands on the DLCs. And so we're gonna go through and do all of the DLC stuff and kind of see how the story unfolds. I have played a playthrough once before, where I just kind of played organically, but I didn't have the DLCs. So I'm just gonna play organically again for the most part. But now I have the DLCs, and we'll see what changes and what swaps around and stuff like that. Let's see. New. I don't really need them. But yeah, so you get to make a cute little doll person. And you get to edit them throughout the years if you want. But yeah, basically it's a game where you go through your life, and your relationship with the boy next door. And it has a bunch of different like options, and I'm really not sure how in depth it is. It definitely remembers everything you put in, but I haven't really gone through and done different answers to see how much it really affects everything. I wasn't even looking at these because I was talking. I think they're just round. And we're always gonna make best girl little. Give her like short baby curly hair right now. I actually kind of like that. But this is supposed to be a little 8-year-old character. You start at 8. And then I think it's 13, 19, and then like 23 are the ages you go through. Oop. Oh, so I'm not gonna use it, but they have names, and they're all names based on their supporters, people who supported the game, I think like through Patreon or something. And all of them ended up with names that the voice actor voices, and they will actually be said. So they just went through and voiced all of these names. So I think that's really cute. that they did that. We aren't gonna pick one, but I am gonna see if my name is on here. Because I think I saw one in the credits. I don't see it. It might be in there and I just missed it. It's fine. But we're not gonna do that. Birthmarks are like little things. I can also give her some scars. She's a very, very rugged 8-year-old. And she got lots of freckles like me. Yeah, so you get to pick all of these little things. You don't get to see them, obviously. You don't ever get to see your character outside of this, because it's all from your perspective. But this stuff kind of gets referenced throughout the game. It's really, really cute. We're gonna call that done. I'm also gonna try and move my mic just a little bit further away because it's on the same side as my mouse. I keep like running my arm across it. Oh, I think I got in it. I think that achievement is for playing again. Doing another run. But yeah, I'll play mostly organically. There's a few things I know I want to like swap around and try and do. But there's also all the new DLC stuff that I think will lead to enough differences and that I don't have to worry about anything too much. It'll still be pretty new to me. It was a popular tourist destination with people coming from all over to enjoy the beach, the weather, and the relaxation that came with it both. I guess for people who don't know, because I didn't know for the longest time until they said it, that we are in California for this. The smell of the ocean, crisp and salty, hung in the air, bringing 3 whole months of schoolless vacation with it. During the summer, your moms didn't like you to wander too far outside the neighborhood, so you knew the area pretty well. That included the people. I feel like if you lived in such a touristy area, I don't know, this 8-year-old has a lot of freedom. Families came and went from Sunset Bird, but they mostly stayed and did what your mom called putting down roots. They built businesses, they got to know each other, and they definitely said hello to the nice young kids who waved when passing their stores. Going for a walk around town mostly meant that the familiar, friendly residents waved or asked how your family was, or most often just said hello. You didn't really get why they always said hi. They saw you every day, but you nodded back. You ended up saying hi to a lot of different people since most of the tourists that came and went every summer were the same ones. You were too anxious to say hi back. Most of the other residents that greeted you, but they all knew I am shy. I am shy, baby. They smiled at you anyway, and that made you feel a little more comfortable. But today there was a man sitting on the curb outside your house. That would make me so nervous. Somebody I didn't know just sitting outside. He was sitting with his head in his hands, his whole body slumped over, and you wondered if he was even a real person, or a statue that had magically sprung up from the ground overnight. Whoever, or whatever he was, you had never seen him before. One thing about knowing everyone in Sunset Bird was that people who you didn't recognize really, really stood out. Yeah. It was rare for tourists to venture into the residential district, as your moms called it. My moms! So for you, not knowing who a total stranger was set off a lot of red flags. Your moms had to talk with you and your big sis, Lizzie, about this kind of situation before. You hadn't exactly been listening at the time. You think it could be okay. They mentioned that some people aren't good to talk to, but other types of people can help you even if you don't know them. You remember that it's okay to run away if you feel uncomfortable. You don't have to worry about being polite to them. So I really agree with that. I'm kind of somewhere in between these two, right? Like, they might be nice, but if you're really, really not feeling it, just leave. Especially if you're just leave. Go to somebody else's house that you trust. Let's be... We'll be a little bit more upbeat about the situation. Yeah, not so sure. You felt a bit scared knowing that he was blocking the way to your front door? Yes. But you were pretty interested, you wanted to know more about what was going on. That is also true. Nosy little child. Whether he was nice or not, you didn't want to be bothered. These are all me, though. Like, I can't, like, super nosy, but don't want to actually be involved. Pretty interested. I kind of... kind of want to know what's up. You slowed down, your eyes remaining fixed on the man. There was a split second where your eyes met, and you knew he was aware he wasn't alone on the street anymore. You raised your eyebrows at the shout. Did he want something? Is that why he was here? The man stood up and started making his way towards you. Don't do that. No. Not wanting to seem too approachable, you folded your arms. That's an actual tactic I use, though. Still unsure about him, but willing to be friendly, you offered the stranger a smile. Your whole body froze in place as he approached. The man gives a grin of his own back. Oh no, he's hot. Oh no. Do you live around here? What's your name? He looked the man up and down, taking in his tan skin and relaxed appearance. At least his clothes were relaxed, though the way he was acting wasn't. He had sharks on his shorts and a stingray tattoo, and you wondered if he was obsessed with the ocean or something. I do like that tattoo. Really, I like his hair. While you made your assessment, he looked at you waiting for an answer to his question. I don't want to answer that question. I don't want to tell him where I live. I don't... Like, no, this is my friend's house. I don't live here. I don't know what you're talking about. If you do... He rubbed the back of his neck uncomfortably, giving you a small smile. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a clean $20 bill. It crinkled in his hand and he held it up. This man just has $20 in his back pocket. I mean, I guess that's not... $20, it's not that bad, I guess. It is... I find it a little weird. Even more confused than before, you looked back at him. I'm very confused. Well, could you do me a favor? Nothing bad. Sorry, I should have let me start. Yes! Yeah. This is suspect. Like, I'll give you $20 if you take this goodie bag, this paper bag, and you run it down that way. Give it to this. Like, come on. He cleared his throat and stood up straighter. From where you were standing, it just made him look creepier. This is true. I was like a nervous and short 8-year-old kid. If any adult person, especially a man, were to come talk, no, shut down completely. I'd be like, I don't know you, don't talk to me. I have a son. His name is Cove, who is about your age. That seems like a strange name for an actual living person. You chewed on the inside of your cheek. This man was definitely obsessed with water. I mean, that sounds cool. I mean, I do think that's kind of cool. But, I mean, both of these are true, right? Like, both of these can be true. He wasn't the only person like that. Okay. Well, I'm not surprised. We moved in across the street. He gestured toward the house that had been empty for a year, his watch catching the late afternoon sunlight and reflecting off the walls. A gigantic for sale sign was finally gone. Sure. You must be little, right? I met your moms earlier and they told me you were 8, just like him. Moms! My mom's ratted me out. He shook the $20 bill to bring back to your attention, a hopeful smile tilting his lips at the corners. Can you try and be friends with the boy? Just give it a chance, and you can keep this. He's a good kid, you'll like him. I don't... But you've got to keep a secret too, okay? It wouldn't be friendly to say his dad sent you. You're stressing me out. I do kind of feel bad for him that his dad feels the need to do this. This definitely wasn't a normal way for kids to make friends, you knew that. Want to make a deal. I don't want the $20. I'm not gonna do that either, I don't think. I think that's just... But I don't want the $20. I'm 8. I don't need $20. It makes me uncomfortable to have that much money in my possession. And I am an adult. This character is 8. And I don't even want $20 in my hand. He took a step back, clearly refusing to accept the offer. I just don't want the $20. I mean, I can still be friends with the kid, I just haven't met him. He deflated enough to notice, but not completely.
Are you sure?
It won't be so bad, even if it's just for the summer. That'd be enough. That only made this sound more strange to you. Why does it lasting for the summer matter? When it was clear his initial strategy wasn't going to fly, he tucked the bill into his back pocket and changed the request. Yes, please, keep your money, it's fine. I promise. I get it, you don't have to. Would you be comfortable with he and I coming over for a normal visit, no money involved? Yeah. We're cool with that. His smile got bigger again, his eyes crinkled at this. He met this 8-year-old kid on the street and then tried to give them $20. Like, honey, you're cute and all, but come on. I'll bring him by tomorrow. I wanted him to meet and greet with the neighbors today, but, well, I don't know where he's gotten off to. Oh no! Doesn't know where his 8-year-old son is. Okay. He laughed when he said it, but with the way his face looked, you thought he actually wanted to cry. No. If you see him, can you tell him to come home? Okay. He's got a pink cast and glasses. You can't miss it. Sure. Okay. Definitely wasn't a normal way for kids to make friends, you knew that, but you were still going to help. Yeah, I mean, a kid's missing. The man smiled and reached out to pat you on the head, paused before doing so, then pulled his hand away instead. Your moms are already checking around for me, such a thoughtful group you are. Now I better go look too, can't put everyone else to work while I keep sitting here. Why were you sitting here in the first place? Okay, so he was theoretically, I guess he was waiting for Cove to come back and spotted me. Or he was waiting for me, which I feel is a little weird when your son's missing, right? Like, find the kid first, and then, like, you'll have time to meet the neighbor's kid. So I'm not entirely sure why he was just sitting here. I thought he might come back. That's not what's important. I have to go. Okay, he was waiting for Cove. Thanks again, little, so much. He jogged off down the street without another word. You decided to check the hills behind your house. That's my first, my first guess would also be like one of my favorite places, I guess. I'd be like, oh, well, there's this whole area, might as well just go over there. Yay! Step 1. Yeah, so this game, it's divided into basically kind of like chapters or steps. And each step is a different phase of life. And they explained this all in the beginning, but I skipped that part. And each step has, like, episodes in it. And it's like an event. And you go through and you do a bunch of stuff. And you can skip all of them if you want to. and just do the beginning of the chapter and the end of the chapter and not do any of the stuff in between. Why you would do that, I don't know. But they had like 4 of the episodes without the DLC, and then they had 4 more each step, like per DLC. So there's like a whole other half of the game that I just haven't played yet. So that's gonna be fun. The chirping of crickets in the tall grass greeted you, quiet and familiar. From the top of the hill, you could see the ocean. As you walked, you listened to the crash of the waves on the shore, and the seagulls squawking as they settled. Seagulls are bastards. Alright, I didn't live in California, but I did live close to the ocean once, on East Coast Ocean. And we weren't like in walking distance of it. We lived like a few miles out, but seagulls are fucking everywhere. They were insufferable. You could not step outside of your house or your apartment with food in your hand, like a sandwich. Step outside, eat a sandwich, you're gonna go walk around the neighborhood or something, and you'll see them circling like fucking vultures. And they won't wait. Like vultures, they stay up there and they wait for you to die and then they come down. Those bitches will come down and grab food from you. The asshole seagulls. You've always loved the ocean. It was so much fun. You loved to hear stories about the sea, about the merfolk and sea serpents. You imagined living far beneath the waves. You didn't enjoy the beach at all, especially the sand, which... Oh, I remember this. Which got absolutely everywhere. I remember sending that one specifically to one of my friends and being like, son of a bitch. Both of these are true, but I like this one specifically. This reminds me of me. This was the dream when I was a kid. Little Mermaid was like my favorite Disney movie as a little kid. Sometimes you could almost convince yourself you had seen the flash of a shiny mermaid's tail in the distance. You took a breath. You wanted to try to relax and couldn't. You weren't sure what, but something told you weren't alone, and you glanced around. Baby! There was a boy sitting at the top of the hill, almost completely hidden without the long grass and white flowers. Oh, almost completely hidden with the long grass and white flowers surrounding him. Look at him, little cutie. Sad baby. His head was buried in his knees, staring ahead by himself. For whatever reason, probably just that he wasn't paying attention, he hadn't noticed you yet. You watched him a minute longer, feeling a little bit like you'd found a deer in the wild. I've done that. They give you dirty looks. They're mean. Though deer didn't have green hair, wavy eyebrows, huge glasses, pink casts, or sad frowns. Green hair. But this new boy did. He watched as it fluttered softly around his face in the breeze. After a few more seconds, he took a step forward, then another. And then he glanced your way. His aquamarine eyes reflected the light of the moon. You stopped, raising a hand to acknowledge him and show you weren't scary. Oh, we are like deer. Start simple. With a start, he jumped to his feet, his hands balling into fists at his sides. He didn't have to get up. He didn't say anything, just stared at you in a strange way. Look at the little cutie! He'd been crying. There were traces of tears on his cheeks and his knees. soaking the hem of his shorts, and his eyes were still shining with a few more. You obviously caught him off guard. His pink cast seemed to glow in the twilight, though when he caught you staring at it, he hid his arm behind his back. Something the man earlier had said stuck out to you. Cove? Eyes wide, he studied you. How'd you know that? I met your dad. It's easy. Oh. So, is this your hill? He gestured with his uninjured arm to the patch of grass surrounding you, his face falling at the prospect. I can leave if it is. While doing so, you also picked at a strand of lint on your leg. What a weird question to ask someone. Oh. He sat back down with a thump, resting his chin on his knees again. Curious about the strange new boy with the odd dad, you sat on the patch of grass next to him. The pure white flowers that covered this hill rocked back and forth gently as the stars twinkled above. The way they dotted the sky made them seem like flowers, too. Oop, missed it. The night wind was cool as it traveled over the ocean and up the hill, chasing away the heat from this afternoon sun. Oh my god, I wish. Why are you here? A quiet hiccup escaped Cove as soon as you asked the question. Almost like they'd never stopped, his tears started up again with vengeance. My parents, they don't want to live together with me anymore. Baby. The tears fell fast and heavy over his flushed cheeks, sticking in his dark eyelashes. My mom made my dad leave, and he took me with him, and now we have a house here, and I want to go home. Baby. Alright, I've played this part before. This is all set up, but it still makes me so sad that I fucking relate so much to this damn kid. Poor baby. The outburst took you off guard. By the time he was done wailing, Cove's chest was heavy with exhaustion. He sniffled and removed his glasses, wiping his tears with the back of his hand before he put them back on. I hate this place. I want my real life back. Oh my god. Oh, it hurts. Ooh, okay. I want my mom. I'm sorry, your dad seems kind of nice. You'll like it here, you just have to get used to it. Stop crying. Come on, man. Fuck. He slipped his hands beneath his glasses and pressed his fingers against his eyeballs. Cove wound himself up again for another long crying fit. You felt bad for him being forced to come here with no choice. You couldn't imagine what it would feel like to live with only one of your moms, but it must be pretty hard. But from way off in the distance, you heard your parents.
Cove?
Kids, where did you go? Cove looked at you, tears still clinging to his cheeks. Don't tell them we're here. I don't want to go back to that house. I want to go home. Yeah, I mean, I have to respond to my mom's, so you're gonna get caught anyway. Stretching as you stood, you tilted your head back down to look at Cove. I can't lie to my moms about where you are, you know. And they're gonna tell him. Slowly, Cove stood up with you, still looking a little reluctant. His dad's voice rang out again. Cove, can you hear me? He looked towards the sound of his dad's voice, silent, then turned away while rubbing his not bandaged arm. Sorry, I still don't want to go. They're coming anyway, so we'll hang with him. Let him sulk. Yeah, I get it. I do, though. You do? Before you could answer, you heard Cove's dad even closer than before. There you are, bud. I love the dad, though. The trio of parents appeared over the curve of the hill. Instantly, all of their eyes landed on you, and they rushed over. Both of your moms were at your side in a split second, faces filled with worry. My moms! Look at them, they're so pretty. Pretty moms. Beautiful mom. Little, you're here after all. We had been at the park to check for Cove and had heard that what happened earlier when you met the new neighbor. I thought you might have gone off further away. So for those, they kind of, I think it does an okay job, but just for the sake of it. Brown-haired mom, gold eyes, in purple is mommy. And then red-headed mom with red eyes and in the yellow is mom. Oh, with the glasses. I guess the one with the glasses would have been a better. Oops. No, we were just sitting in the grass. Why is everybody acting like it's such a big thing? We're okay, don't worry. Cove didn't want to go home just yet. I don't really want to, like, out the kid. I don't know if this is like, oh, this is gonna be embarrassing, or if it's more like I'm supporting his decision to kind of like hang out here. No, we were just sitting in the grass. That's fine. Thank God you're both fine. Were you two having fun out here? Always. It's a giant hill by the ocean. You looked over at Cove, who was Hey, Art! It's a visual novel game. It's really cute. You looked over at Cove, who was wiggling against his dad's tight hug and pushing at his arms. I played it a few days ago, and it was really good, and I was talking about it with some other friends, and they wanted to watch me play it, so I figured why not. You shrugged. Yes, I like him. This isn't my first full playthrough. This is my first playthrough with all of the DLC. We're just gonna go with... Yeah, he's okay. You nodded, smiling slightly. But yeah, it's really cute, and apparently it came out 2 years ago, and I missed it. And I just never saw it, even though it's like right up my alley of like games that I play in my off time. But I don't know, I think it showed up on my Steam page at one point, and they're like, free visual novel game. And I was like, sure. Yes, that's what it looks like, that they're, like, the DLC is, like, at least half of the game, and that I think the DLC, determines certain characters, because when I played the base game, there were some people that just kind of didn't have a presence. I'm trying not to give too much away for the people who haven't played this game and want to view it for the first time. So I figured that was, like, DLC content. But I'm not entirely sure. But that's why I'm playing it. I really liked the base game, and it felt like there was a lot of effort put into the game, and so I didn't have a problem kind of putting in the extra couple bucks for the DLC. Alright, finally letting go of his squirming, scowling son, Cove's dad turned to the three of you.
That's a relief.
Thanks very much for finding him. I really don't know this neighborhood. Good thing Little knows the whole area so well. I was born and raised here. I say that. I didn't know any neighborhood growing up. When I was a little kid, even now, that I say my entire life, I have not bothered to know the area I live in. I don't give a shit. People will be like, where's the Walmart? I don't fucking know. I don't give a shit. I just drive around the street till I find it, man. Like, whatever. Good thing Little knows the area so well. Absolutely, we should be getting home now. It's been a long day for us all. Say goodbye. Bye. Oh, grumpy baby, sad baby. The two of them walked off into the darkness, heading towards the neighborhood. You watched Cove's bright pink cast until it disappeared. Tell you what, we'll have a proper playdate tomorrow, okay? Okay, Mom. Your new friend's dad wanted to bring him by to see you and Lizzie. How does that sound? Sure. Can I show him my stuff? It sounds like words. You nodded. I am shy. I am a shy baby. Both your moms laugh, the sounds overlapping into warm, familiar chorus. Mommy put her arm around your shoulder and led you towards the path. I love my moms, they're so pretty. Satisfied and more than a little ready to go to bed after your long, exciting day, you followed them home. It was like the past hour was exciting. Yay! Okay. This is how you feel towards Cove for this step. It can change in later steps. Yeah. So, when I actually did my first playthrough, I was like, well, at this point, I would be mostly indifferent to this kid, because I interacted with him once, and he's like, he's fine. So that's what I picked. We're gonna go up one level than I did initially. We are still going to be nervous, because that's me. I'm just nervous ball of anxiety all the time. But we're going up one because I want to see how the dialogue changes. And it's also that I found when I played the based game, at the beginning of this all I was indifferent, and then like halfway through I would become fond. And then in the next one I was fond, and then halfway through I would start being like, oh, the crush is building. Oh yeah, so much of it is like free, and I really appreciate that from them. Because the base game was actually really long. Like, it took me I think it calculated like 10 to 12 hours just to get through it. It's a lot. And it has a lot of options and a lot of... They did really good. Apparently they have a second game out that is also free, or is it going, or at least the demo is out. I don't know if the whole game is out yet, but maybe I'll look into that because they seem to be doing good stuff. It's really cute. But yeah, let's see if we can get some new dialogue options here. We'll stay nervous. That's fine. I like being nervous little baby. Fuck it. We'll mix it up. It's fine. I want new dialogue options. Do a save. We're gonna save over my old one. It's okay. You won't be able to change again until step 2. Yes. I can't read what that says. Anyway. At the breakfast table the next morning, you finished your food faster than usual. Your sister Lizzie had run out earlier to go play, but you'd stayed put. Today, just like your moms had promised, Cove was coming over to hang out. Mamas! Excited to see your new friend again? Yes.
How sweet.
How sweet. I'm so happy he moved in.
Okay.
With that said, are you done with your breakfast? Your bowl was entirely empty, so that's a me thing to do. Sure. Mm-hmm. Good job. He should be here soon. Cleanup began, and then on cue, there was a knock. It was hesitant, like a person wasn't sure they were in the right place. Still loud, though. We need to get a more obvious doorbell. I know. And then they never did. Typical. Have your 8-year-old answer the door? Sounds great. Wiggling out of your chair without really pushing it back, you made your way to the door. Hey, Flame family, thanks for having us. Yee! Mr. Holden, as your moms have called him, and his son were here. I just call him Cove's dad. Cove looked different in the bright lighting of your living room, and when he wasn't crying. He still looks upsetty. With his dad standing in front of him, and mom and mommy behind you, you and Cove looked at each other. God, when the parents are friends, so they try to make the kids be friends, and the kids are not friends. Oh god, that was the worst. Pleased to see your new friend again, you smiled at Cove. He smiled back with some hesitation. Yay! Let's go play! Alright, so, if I'm remembering correctly, I am already, like, the character already is a little bit more enthusiastic about meeting him and spending time with him than she was when I went through on the indifferent route. That he was like, he's okay. So that's cute.
Take care.
Let us know if you need anything. He is exactly that kind of guy, because that's what he did. It's fine. He cute, though. It's alright. Have fun.
See you.
See you later. Play nice. The little room. Cute little room. My big-ass closet. Or wardrobe, I guess. Big-ass wardrobe. You led him to your room, puffing out your chest a little bit at the sight of your treasures. There were lots of stuffed animals, a cool bed, and a window to look out. It was a great room. You hadn't had anyone to show it to in a while, but you were really proud of it. You leaned in a little closer to one of your drawings on the wall. I like this. Ooh, thanks. I'm simple. What do you want? You smiled at him. You were proud that this particular piece of art, and you were glad he noticed it. I did my first time starting on Crush, and there's such a nice dialogue, even with the whole childish extra friend, best friends feel to it. Oh, that's cute. You smiled at him, you were proud. Oh, did that. Well, I started at like the lowest tier just because I wanted to see what happened, and I was kind of playing off of like playing organically on how like my relationships with my friends always went, where I was like, I don't really give a shit about this person too much until we are around each other enough. You turned to look around the room a little more, studying the books on your desk and the pictures on the walls. Oh, he turned. Oops. You started to feel nervous, you felt the atmosphere was kind of awkward, you were glad for the company, you hope he... Yeah, my room is fucking awesome, he better like it. You had put a lot of effort into making your room as nice as it was, you hoped he didn't say anything bad about it. Then his eyes landed on a tiny box of beach things you'd collected, tucked away in your door. By your door. So, on my first playthrough when I got to this part, this kid is me. I didn't live near a beach when I was this young, so I didn't have like beach items collected, but I would collect rocks. And I collected all kinds of rocks to the point that my guardians at the time, who I think were my mom and my stepdad, bought me a rock tumbler so I would have something to do with them because I just had a box of rocks. Then he took a step towards it before hesitating and pointing at it instead. What's that? A hoard of stuff I found. Oh yeah, my little hoard, my little treasure hoard.
Oh.
Do you have any why driftwood specifically? Dragging the box into the middle of the room, you and Cove flopped down next to it. I think so. You gestured to the piece at the bottom, still covered with specks of sand.
Neat.
Neat. This is a good collection. Thanks! I worked really hard on it. You got the sense from the tone of his the tone of his voice that he wasn't just saying it to be nice. Or to be like Silo. He actually meant it. Oh right, I almost forgot. Silo's gonna be here today. Silo? Lizzie's friend, or like her #1 fan, I guess. Yeah, I don't know what step 3 being. I want to know what the whole game is like if you just remain completely indifferent to him. And I'm like, it must like be weird. Do I have to see him? Well, I mean, he's coming to the house. I can't really control that. It should be okay. I mean, he's Lizzie's friend, not mine, but you know. Come on, check out my shells some more. I only want to do it to see the dialogue, or maybe I'll just look up something for that, but I don't know if I could do that, right? Like, if you spend your whole life being raised with somebody else, you would have to... I mean, I guess it's not completely impossible to just not have relationships with them at all. Oh my god, Art. But yeah, I couldn't see the character not at least being fond of him and being like good friends. It'd be heartbreaking. Art rolled my best emote. Come on, check out my shells. I found this one under a big piece of seaweed that had washed ashore. And you pulled out a seashell after seashell, explaining where you'd gotten each one and holding them up against the light. Every single one has a story, man. There were big ones, small ones, pink, purple, and orange. This game knows my signature colors. Most of them you washed off in the bathroom sink when you brought them home, cleaning off the sand. Over the past few years, you'd even learned some of their scientific names. The location was huge and varied, that you had lots of funny stories to tell. Your voice faltered a bit, but you kept going as best as you could. This one. I'm sure you do. That's not really too surprising. Like, obviously the game isn't written for you to be completely indifferent to him, even though that is an option for you to take. But it is a story about how the two of you develop and either become really, really close friends, dating, and or potentially married, or whatever, right? Like, that is the pipeline you're supposed to go down there. Even though they definitely allow you to just be completely indifferent to him, which I really like. That you, if you wanted that option, you can take it. Apparently fascinated either by the stories or by the shells themselves, Cove listened with what looked like a full force of his attention. That there aren't indifferent exclusive pictures. I guess? I don't really know what they would be. Like when you almost got pinched by a hermit crab while searching for shells, and after watching him scuttle back into the ocean, you found another empty shell that was almost a twin to his home. Funny story. I almost picked up a jellyfish once. I don't remember what beach I was on, but it was like dark, and I was of course collecting my rocks and my shells and whatever. And there was like this flat thing on the ground that I went to pick up, and my mom stopped me. And then my stepdad kicked it, and it like flashed colors, and it was weird. We were pretty sure it was some kind of jellyfish that had gotten beached. Hey Scroll, you're late. What happened in the... Oh. The character was telling a story about how she was collecting shells and she almost got pinched by a hermit crab. And then I told a story about how something kind of similar almost happened to me, where I was picking up stuff at the beach and I almost picked up a jellyfish. Answer emails, lame. It was a new experience to be the center of such dedicated focus. Oh, I would have. I totally would have picked it up. My mom spotted me doing it and stopped me because she thought it looked weird. Because she was smarter than me. Because I was, I don't know. I had to be 7 or 8. This kid's age, actually. And they just kicked it back into the ocean. And then they were a lot more careful about letting me wander around near the water. But Cove hadn't been mean to you, so you didn't mind. You smiled at him every now and then while showing him your collection. Kids, come on down. Is there food? I'll only come down if there's food. You could tell the idea was making him unhappy, but Mommy wasn't giving you much of a chance to hang around. Cove hadn't been like this meeting you. You guessed it was because he thinks you found each other by accident. Not that the parents made it happen. I mean, we did. I mean, I was directed to look for him, but we had mostly just found each other. Mr. Holden must be right that telling Cove his dad was a part of that would be a bad idea. Before you knew it, you'd both been escorted downstairs and deposited in the living room, ready for Silo's visit. The two of you sat side by side on the floor of your home's entryway. I brought a box of shells. I want to keep looking at them. Oh, the box of shells. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Bust it open. Cove reached in and pulled out a big orange shell. Ooh! Like he hadn't spoken aloud yet, he turned to you and held it up, his eyes shining. I think this one is the best of them. Look at that smile! He's so cute! That's my favorite too. I like a different one the best. I can show you. I didn't pick this one last time, but I'm wondering like what it would let me pick. You reached into the box to take out the one you preferred. Cove looked with interest. The two of you were still sitting on the floor looking through your collection. Oh, I was wondering if they were gonna let me like pick what it looked like. Sometimes they do. When you pick options like that, they'll be like, okay, well, your favorite actually looked like, and then they give you a list of options. Oh well. The two of you were still sitting on the floor looking through your collection of beach findings when the doorbell finally rang. Cove jumped, startled by the sound. Since the person hadn't knocked, you figured it was probably Silo. He knew where to look for the doorbell. He knew where to look for the doorbell. Lizzie's friend? You haven't even met Lizzie yet. It's so weird to me that we're meeting Lizzie's friend before Lizzie. You nodded, but it didn't seem to make Cove feel better. It was already obvious that Cove didn't hide his feelings well. You could tell what he was thinking right away. This isn't a good idea. He'll be alright. He's here, we can't tell him to leave. Wrong, you could. He's at our only door, and if you go upstairs, he'll find you. Cove glanced around the room, his eyes wide, and finally paused with his gaze locked onto the back of the house. I can't go out the window. Okay. He was already walking towards it. No! Scrambling, you think of something to say, you step forward, then paused. Do you want to break your other— That's mean. Silo is the least scary person alive, that's true. Cheer up, Silo's gonna like you. Please don't get hurt, I'll come with you. Good idea, let's go. Every single— Bunny Rabbit is scarier than Silo. But I don't want to see him, I don't know him. This kid is me, though. Like, he's a little bit more aggressive about trying to leave when he doesn't want to be with people. I would just get quiet and ignore them. I am scarier than Silo. This kid is little soft baby. But, he's a little bit more determined to leave than I was. I would just shut down. As a kid, I didn't want to talk to people. You teased him, you comforted him, you encouraged him. Comfort. It's okay if you're worried. Nobody warned you this was gonna happen. Thanks. Alright, well, don't grumpy face me. It's not my fault. Silo poked his head in the living room. It was impossible to know for sure if he'd heard what you'd been saying or not, but you guessed that he had. Look at the baby! Little baby, look at all of his freckles. Cutie. Hi, little. Hi, Cove. Cove shot you an uneasy glance. Look at the baby!
Hi.
Hi. I'm Silo. It's nice to meet you. He's so fucking cute. Yeah. You have a lot of freckles. Right, I do. I also have a lot of freckles, not like him. But you didn't comment on my freckles, upsetty spaghetti. What are you guys doing? We're looking at shells.
Can I do it too?
Awesome, can I do it too? Cove shrugged and looked back at your box of beach findings. What about that one? The plan for the afternoon, at least as far as you were concerned, was to sit and look at the beach things some more. You weren't really in the mood to do much of anything else, especially if Cove was having fun. Hey, check out this scallop shell I found. Cool, right? It's a pretty color, kind of like my cast. A beautiful glittering pink did look a little bit like the wrap around his arm. Pink is a nice color. Okay. Aww. Is it your favorite? No, not really. Oh. Making friends as a kid, man. What is? Maybe green or blue. It might be yellow. Those are all cool. He's trying so hard. I guess. I like those colors too. There are better colors. Not sure how to deal with the sudden more awkward silence. You looked back at your just gonna ignore this. I don't want to be involved. Like usual, you didn't take long for Scylla to get fidgety. Lizzie was his favorite. Without her around, Scylla didn't seem to know what to do with himself. And Cove wasn't like your sister. He wasn't much like you either. I disagree. Is Lizzie coming back? He wasn't asking you. Where'd she go? I think she's at the beach, probably. Is she playing at her park? Cove's eyes lit up at the mention of the park, and he looked towards you. There's a park? Yeah, but it's old. Can you show me? I want to go. He started getting up before you had even answered, and Scylla jumped up beside him with excitement. Alright, I've been outvoted. Really, you do too? Right, little? The park is fun. No. It's alright. Whatever, I guess. Yeah, it's right at the beach and there's lots of fun stuff to do and lots of sand. That's the worst part. There's a jungle gym and a bunch of swings. That sounds like it could be cool. So, are we going to find Lizzie? Oh, get me some. I want some Mexican food. I don't know, I never really wanted to see her. I just want to check the park out. Cove is like my spirit animal, man. I hate sand. I swear to God, Scrawl. I swear to God. Don't. Don't do it. Adrift without any direction, Scylla finally turned to you. Okay. He perked up. Both boys wanted to go. It was only fair. Okay. I agree. I don't like sand either. Or at least I don't like beach sand for the most part, if that makes sense. Like, sometimes it's nice to walk out and, like, bury your feet in it, but there's something really bad about, like, coming home and realizing how covered in sand. It's awful. Art chiming in with the best emote every now and again. After getting permission from your moms, the three of you are ready to head out. It was a short walk in the park. Lizzie had convinced your moms that it was so short she should always be allowed to walk there by herself. She is a very convincing 10-year-old, I suppose. When you found her, she was hanging on the jungle gym, swinging back and forth. Hey, Lizzie! Her face lit up when she saw you, her big brown eyes going wide. Little Scylla. Aw. Scylla loves her. She dropped on the ground and landed with a soft thud in the sand. In a split second, Silo had abandoned you two and scrambled over to stand by her. You were used to being left out when it was just the three of you, but now Cove was here. Yeah, I'm no longer the third wheel. This game is too real for me, man. I'm sure I did it to people too, where it's like two people are friends, and really the two of them just want to hang out, and then everybody else is just kind of there. You wondered if he would leave too. Hi, Lizzie! Isn't she so cute? Look at her hair. Who's that? It's Cove. He's new.
Hi.
I remember. Hi, Cove. Welcome to my park. Nobody ever comes to play here, so this is where we get together. I know, Sunflower Baby. She gestured widely with her arms as if to present the area to the newcomer. I'm trying to talk too fast. I keep, fucking up my words. While Lizzie continued talking, you took the chance to kick off your shoes and wiggle your toes through the warm sand. No, you don't get to design... Well, you don't get to design anybody else except for Cove. You can kind of manipulate his designs, which I'm gonna try not to do. I'm gonna let the game organically create him. Maybe. Unless for some reason I really don't like what ends up happening. But no, everybody else is completely of their own creation. But she did end up looking just like she actually was related to Little. So that's cute. It turned out pretty good. Can you not make MC? Yeah, I can. Well, kind of. You don't see them. But back at the beginning of the game, there's a little, character doll that you can manipulate, and you change that around. They just don't have a model like this. You might get to see it when we get to the other steps, because you get to change it based on your age. I swear you two are blood related. We could be. Well, Lizzie continued talking. You took the chance to kick... Oh, did that. Okay. Nice, huh? In this neighborhood, I'm the one who comes up with all the ideas. Oh, everybody knows that, kid. Your moms knew what they were doing when they adopted you. They have a thing for red-headed babies. You are? Yeah, I am. Who else could handle the job? Lizzie is the oldest. I can tell she's the tallest. By a lot. My mom said you're Little's age. It's only by 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah? Thought so. I'm still the only one in this group with double digits. What about other kids? Other kids? There aren't any. We're the only kids, and Silo is just visiting from another place. Not even tourists really bring their kids here. This is the land of ancients. Be careful that the oldies don't try and steal your youth. Damn, Liz. Damn. Oh. For a second, he looked like he might cry again. No! We're trying to get him to like the neighborhood, Lizzie. But something in his eyes shifted and he looked back at Lizzie. What kind of old people? Like moms and dads or grandparents? Grandparents who don't have kids. They hate kids. Why? We haven't done anything. He looks so upset. Only some of them don't like kids. Stop saying stuff like that. You're gonna upset him. Yeah, they're really bad. Only some of them don't like kids. You interjected quickly, hoping Lizzie wouldn't take things too far. Cove sniffled, his forehead creasing with worry. My little crybaby boy. He's so cute. Lizzie was staring Cove down, but Cove wasn't even looking at her anymore. He didn't seem to care that she was there. He went into his own head. You and me both, bud. Scylla was the next one to speak, completely unaware of the situation. I met Lizzie and Little in school. You'll see tons of kids there once summer is over. I don't want to go to a new school. I don't want summer to end. Yeah, that sounds about right. Little looked down to the dirt. It's sand. He hasn't had much luck striking up conversations with Cove. I know. I'm sorry, baby. I like summer vacation a lot too. He's trying so hard. At the building, tension in the air suddenly vanished when Lizzie laughed. At Scylla's discomfort at how weird she thought Cove was at something else entirely, you didn't really know, but she laughed, face scrunching up.
Okay.
Welcome to Sunset Bird Cove. Take a seat, put up your feet, and get used to it. God. I knew too many girls like this who were my friends, except they were meaner. You offered him a small smile, and that, at least, looked to reassure him some. For the rest of the summer, Cove was always there. You saw him more often than Scylla, and on some days, well, he is my neighbor and Scylla isn't. On some days, when she was in a bad mood or busy, you even saw him more than Lizzie. He became a staple of your everyday life, the way sun and lunch and the beach were. Okay. Kid logic, I guess. During your first summer together, you really liked Cove. He was a fun person to play with, and he seemed to like playing with you too. Of course, that was only the start of things. Alright. Oh god, there's so many of them. So, this top row, so these are all the episodes you can do. This top row, these 5, were all the free ones that came with the game, and then there's 5 more that are DLC. These bitches are long. So, we are not going to even get through this step of life this stream. We might get through like 2 or 3 of these. I don't think I have to do them in order, but for the most part, I guess I will. Maybe I'll like zigzag them so I can break up these ones, because I did all of these in a row, and that way I can like break it up with new information. We'll see. I don't think there's a set order. Ghost. We'll get there. Yeah, I guess we'll just go. Hold on, let me save actually. Oh, you can kind of see my model because I saved it on the last screen. That's what she looks like if you can see her tiny little face. My cat was trying to eat a wasp. Oh no. Yeah, she baby. She have wild, crazy hair like I did when I was a little baby. Deaf related. Alright. We'll hit this one and then we'll hit the library one. Come back before it gets dark, alright? Oh. But, so, I was talking a little bit earlier about how at the beginning of each chapter you kind of get to pick your feelings toward Cove, and that my first playthrough during this I picked indifferent, but by the time I like got to even this part in the game that had changed, and I was like, okay, well, you kind of have to more or less pick the one you think you're going to have in the after like the first chapter. Anyway. But this time we're fond of him, so we're already kind of friends. The familiar voice drifted across the street and drew your attention away from the snail you'd been watching inch slowly across the pavement. This kid is me. This kid is just like me. You bet your ass I'd be sitting there just watching something stupid on the ground while everybody else was doing other things. And they're like, why don't you go play? And I'm like, this is playing. I'm watching this fucking snail. I'm watching this line of ants. Like, it was fun. Hello, hot dad, and Cove, who is sweet baby. Cove waited in front of his dad, pushing his green hair back off his face from where the breeze was blowing it over his glasses. He looked to be paying only a mild amount of attention as he was being handed a few slips of green paper. I don't think Hot Dad is related to me. I sure hope Hot Dad isn't related to me. That makes this all very awkward. It reminded you of when you'd first met Mr. Holden, although he's probably not paying Cove to be friends with himself. Oh. No. Cove's dad seemed to feel your gaze somehow, and maybe you made a noise because a second later his eyes were on you. He waved you over with a smile. Look at him, he's so sweet. He looked happy to see you, but you still felt a little weird for getting caught. You've got to learn how to be more sneaky. My stealth stat isn't that good yet. You brushed your hands together to free them from sand, then jogged over to join the two, smiling at Cove first, and then his dad. Oh, he's so happy to see me.
How's it going?
Good to see you again. What excitement are you up to today? Watching a snail? Taking a walk? That works too. I found a pretty cool snail across the road. There's lots of snails around here. Are there lots of snails near the beach? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. They're everywhere. Mr. Holden grinned at you kindly. This kid's fucking weird. After you finished answering the question, Mr. Holden's attention returned to Cove, who was preoccupied with folding the bills he had into tiny rectangles. Sounds fun. You know, Cove was about to hit the stores by the beach. Why don't you go with him? We have a lot of freedom as 8-year-olds, I'm just saying. You gave a ready nod, turning to Squint? Squint, yeah. I was like, is that Sprint? My brain did not work. Squint in the direction of the stores, like you could see the goods they had to offer all the way from where you stood. Oh, I see. Oh, is that okay?
Yeah.
I don't mind. Yes, the buddy system. Great, I'm sure you guys will have loads of fun. Mr. Holden reached into his pocket and pulled out a leather wallet filled with money. You found it odd since your mom's only ever seemed to have cards in theirs. See what I mean? See what I mean? Yeah, must be very low. Yeah, they're just letting these kids walk around. This man just has bills. He just has fat stacks at all times. Like, I don't understand. He's a stripper. That's what I said. I said he was a stripper. Here. You get loose depictions of what he does. I think only towards the end of the game was I told exactly what his job was, and then there were indications about other things in his life, but for the most part, based for at least the decisions I made in the base game, nobody ever says what he does until towards the end, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. He leaned in to pass a crisp 10 to Cove, giving him a wink and a whisper. Get something for your friend, too. Sure.
Good kid.
That's my boy. Cove's dad ruffled his son's hair, and he was straightening back up, the bill in his hand still held out towards the green-haired boy. Take care. He looks like he could be one. He's pretty enough, man. Like, come on. He got, like, the nice tattoos and the nice tan and blonde hair mix. Cove accepted the bill. After a second, it slipped into his pocket. Then, with one last nod to his dad, he returned and started walking. You followed after him, intrigued at the possibility of this outing might bring. The middle of the tide, creeping up the sand, you fell into pace beside him. It was a nice day, the sun was shining, there weren't many clouds in the sky. You took in a deep breath, enjoying the scent of salt and ocean air. That is not a good scent. It's nice, sometimes. But again, as somebody who lived... Maybe it was just the ocean I lived close to. It, didn't always smell great. It's like briny. When you looked at Cove, he was dragging his feet through the sand a little, and you slowed down to wait for him. I'm okay with it. I'm okay, but sometimes it's really bad. Sometimes it's not great. His eyes searching the ground intently. Are you looking for snails? Are you looking for shells? What is it? I don't feel the need to ask why. He started a little at the sound of your voice and mumbled, sort of. If you see any, can you let me know? You could manage that. You dropped your view to the sand, walking carefully so you didn't step on any. You were good at finding Yeah, I have a whole collection. You had a lot of them at home and always found new ones. The comforting sound of the waves filled the silence with pleasant white noise, and you played a little game with yourself as you walked along, getting as close to the water as possible without getting wet. Bullshit! Get in the water! It resulted in you having to run up the sand quickly when a wave rushed a few more times, and although Cove threw a few glances your way, he didn't say a word. I need a sand pail. Aww. Yeah? What happened to your old one?
Whoa.
It disappeared. Oh, he lost it when he moved, I bet. Ooh, okay. What, really? Cove ducked his head down, lacing his fingers behind his back. It didn't seem like he was going to continue, so you nudged his arm. How did that happen? Well, I took it to the beach one day. Uh-huh. And when I got home, it wasn't anywhere. Oh, okay. Typical 8-year-old. You left it there? Nope, it wasn't at the beach when I went back. Then you lost it. It disappeared. Okay. I'm not gonna argue.
So...
What about you? What do you do out here? I don't come to the beach a lot. I like swimming. I like swimming. One of these days, a mermaid or some kind of sea creature is just gonna drag me to my death and I'll be happy, man. Cove's lips curl up in a small smile. Me too. It occurred to you that he hadn't been swimming for a while. There was just so much to do before school. Oh, you hadn't been swimming. Once you reached the shopping area, the noise level grew exponentially. No longer just waves and footsteps, but the chatter of people enjoying a lovely summer. You sniffed the air as you walked beside Cove. You could still smell the ocean, but there were other scents too. Pizza, pretzels, and hot donuts. Oh. Stop. I'm hungry. It's nice. It's not very nice. It's alright. The smell of food is great. It's all the people I don't like. It's nice. The energy surrounding the area seemed to fill you, and there was a bounce in your step as you began looking at all the familiar sights. There were so many things to do, you didn't know where to begin. You looked at Cove, hoping he was just as excited as you were. Cove was glancing from one side of the street to the other, with a look in his aquamarine eyes that you couldn't quite work out. What's that? Cove pointed at a large crowd of people gathered a few tables near, large, colorful umbrellas blooming from their middles. You couldn't see past the adults blocking the way. Without another word, the two of you hurried over to see what all the commotion was about. Feast your eyes on the amazing Alexander! Okay. In the center of the crowd was a man with a tall hat and a funny green coat that had 3 long tails. I don't know how any... Hold on. How is any street performer out here on this hot Californian beach wearing a coat? There was a little table next to him with a cloth hanging over it that read, "The Amazing Alexander," a glittery golden script. He's a leprechaun. Why tell people his name if it's already on this sign? Both hummed with understanding and then turned to walk away just as the Amazing Alexander began shuffling his deck of cards. Maybe we could stay and watch? Yeah. Flag, and then he briefly lifted his arms up off his sides before returning them in place. You grinned, waving for him to follow you as you raced back to stand in the crowd. You can't see shit though, you're 8. With that, it began. The Magic Man pulled 1 card out of the deck and was showing it to the curious onlookers. 4 of diamonds. Oh god. You did squeezing through a few of the adults. You get a better view. Suddenly, the man snapped his fingers and the card just disappeared. Cove's not impressed. The Amazing Alexander, who had earned his title, turned his head and looked directly at you. Oh god. He reached out with a kind smile. I don't want it. What's this behind your ear? Nothing? You didn't keep anything there. He smelled like popcorn and candy when he stepped closer, and you wrinkled your nose in confusion as you watched him. You felt a tug and then pulled the 4 of diamonds out from behind your ear. Oh my god! It's amazing. You knew that it couldn't really have come from your ear. This is for you. The magician plucked a pair of balloons from a clump of them tied down to his table. Both were in the shape of a dolphin instead of being a normal circle. Dolphin balloons. And 1 for your friend too. Thank you for being my assistant. The best trip ever. We got balloons. After that, he went to someone else. Pick a card, any card. My uncle does that every time he visits. Not the balloons, the stuff with the cards. Cove spoke plainly while reaching over to take the dolphin that had been designated for him. Maybe it wasn't so special. Cove was just ruining the fun. At least you had a fun time. You wondered if Cove's whole family was matched. I went shopping on Free Balloon Day. Oh! It's really... This is made really funny when you know these kids are like Lulu's age and have Lulu logic. I just thought of that actually, because that's such a Lulu thing to say. You saw a magic trick and you got a great balloon. It was more than enough to make it worthwhile event. They're the same age. I thought about doing like a playthrough of this from the perspective of like Azra too, and how cute she would be. That'd be cute. You thought that if you could find a card to practice with, maybe you could make it disappear too. Ooh! The crowd started to clear, and you noticed the side there was a gnat in my face. Oh yeah, because Azra is like a completely different personality than what I would pick, so it would be like a completely different route. It would be pretty cute. Started to clear, you noticed... Oh. brightly colored kaleidoscopes on display. You picked up a kaleidoscope, you picked up a Rubik's Cube. You picked up a Magic 8 Ball. You walked past the toys. I mean, all of these kind of suck. I mean, as a kid, it's kind of fun to, like, fuck around with this stuff, but, like, they weren't really fun, right? You just fiddled with them. I don't really want any of the toys. Sure, let's see what the Magic 8 Ball says. You shifted your balloon string to the other hand, so you could hold it in front of you. Then you thought of a question in your mind, shake the ball, hearing some kind of liquid slosh around. Yeah. Once you had given a good shake, you held it upright, waiting for the answer to appear. Concentrate and ask again. Typical. You wrinkled your nose and set the Magic 8 Ball back. Just throw the fucking thing. Just be like, this thing sucks. It wasn't the answer you were hoping for. It wasn't an answer. Bullshit. You followed Cove around to the other side of the stall. You went under the awning, careful of his own floating dolphin, and you joined him. Did you have a place look like this in your old town? Don't ask that. We're trying to make him feel better about moving. Are you having fun? I don't really like it here. Are you having fun? We're trying to get him associated with the neighborhood. He nodded and you smiled back at him, happy to hear it. Yee! When Cove moved towards the stall nearby, you followed beside him. It's so cute! While Cove looked at sand pails, and you were drawn to the table with colorful keychains laid out. They were strewn at the shapes of sea creatures, and there was a plaque that read, "Handmade," standing proudly in front. There were lots of different types. You saw a dolphin, a shark, a crab, and a turtle. Shark. Shark every day, all day. Love the shark. Your hand stopped on the shark, a devious smirk filled with sharp teeth on its face. Those are giant-ass keychains. Yeah. I'm sure they're smaller than they're presented here. You weren't supposed to go near sharks in real life, but there was something about this shark you liked. The fabric on its back was soft when you picked it up. Ooh, it's fuzzy. Fuzzy shark. You were instantly enamored. Yeah, it's cute. Checking the price though, your heart fell. $6. You didn't know much about money, but you thought that was a lot to spend. Baby! You rarely had more than a $5 bill to your name. Aww! They're really good with, like, the kid logic. It's pretty nice. They're pretty good at writing it. Is that what you want? Huh? Oh, it's $6. I didn't bring any money. It's fine. You don't have to.